The next key word is happiness, the universal quest. Happiness is a joy that most often comes as a result of positive activity. Like wealth, it too has a wide variety of meanings and interpretations. Happiness is both the joy of discovery and the joy of knowing. It is a result of an awareness of the full range of life, the color, the sound, the harmony. And it is the joy that comes from designing a life and practicing the fine art of living well. Happiness is being able to explore the offerings of life by perception, response, and enjoyment. Happiness is both receiving and sharing, reaping and bestowing. It is being able to feast on harmony as well as food, on ideas as well as bread. Happiness is the deliberate act to create a wider world of experience and awareness. Happiness is having a handle on disappointment. It is being in control of both emotion and circumstance. Happiness is freedom from the negative children of fear, such as worry, low self-esteem, envy, greed, anger, resentment, and so on. Happiness is an awareness and a grasp of the positive power of life and loving values. It is an order of thought, activity, and lifestyle. Happiness is values in balance. It is contact with people of substance. Happiness is contentment with the tasks of your life. It is thought inspired by, organized with, and rooted in your personal philosophy. Happiness is a life well lived, in which a wide variety of experiences are deliberately captured to become an invaluable form of currency for you to spend and invest in your own better future. Happiness is activity with purpose. It's love in practice. Happiness is both a grasp of the obvious as well as an awe of the mysterious. But for most people around us, happiness seems to be either something left behind or something yet to be discovered. Like all the good things in life, happiness is elusive by nature, but not impossible to capture. A major key for bringing joy into our lives lies in the next word we shall briefly examine: discipline. If there is a magic word that stands out above all the rest, this is the one: discipline. And in this program, you'll discover how positive this word is. Discipline is the bridge between thought and accomplishment, the bridge between inspiration and value achievement, the bridge between necessity and productivity. Remember, all good things are upstream. The passing of time takes us adrifting, and drifting only brings us the negative, the disastrous, the disappointment, and the failure. Failure is not a cataclysmic event. It is not generally the result of one major incident, but rather a long list of accumulated little failings. Failing in life is failing to think today, failing to act today, failing to care, to strive, to climb, to learn, to keep trying day by day. If your goal requires that you write 10 letters today and you write only 3, you are down 7 letters. If you want to make 5 calls and you only make 1, you are down 4 on calls. If your plan calls for saving $10 today and you save none, you're down $10 today. Now the danger is looking at an undisciplined day and concluding that no great harm has been done. It doesn't seem like such a bad day, but add up these days to make a year, and then add up those years to make a lifetime, and perhaps you can now see how repeating today's small failures can easily turn your life into a major disaster.
The reason people aren't patient is they value other people's opinions too much. I'll tell you one thing about teaching or anything else that doesn't make you $1 million a year. The most upset, not happy people I know have the most money that I know. We need to start changing the conversation to happiness, not money. You can make $47,000 a year and have much more stuff than somebody makes $280. It depends on how much you spend. You might not be in a position to buy every new Off-White on a teacher's salary, but the question is, do you need that? The reality is most people need it just to flex in front of somebody because they're insecure. Once you don't give a fuck about anybody's opinion, you ain't gonna buy anything. You need nothing. That's straight up, man. Young guys buy because they're insecure. They want to look cool in front of their friends. They want to get a girl. It's not super complicated. It's the least complicated shit of all time.
I was getting beat up in school, I was getting bullied, and I was getting beat up. Like, bully, not always physical, but I got beat up multiple times. And I was just sick and tired of it. So one night, I was watching cable TV, was flipping through the channel, and I saw this guy, this man. And the movie was Return of the Dragon by Bruce Lee. He was doing nunchuck and kicking everyone's ass, and at the end, and fought with Chuck Norris and then beat Chuck Norris. And I was like, oh my God, I found my hero. From that moment, you know what, I want to be like Bruce Lee. I want to learn martial arts. So back then near my house, there was a karate school, kind of like Taekwondo school. And I joined the class, and I was taking the class. I was practicing, I was stretching, I was practicing my stuff. Every day I was obsessed. I mean, I would practice 3-4 hours every day because I was so skinny. I was 105 pounds, but then I would do my push-up and work out and started gaining a little bit of muscles. So after I was training for about 6 months or so. Now, if you ever done any martial art, you know after you practice martial art, you develop this natural self-confidence. Not cockiness, but you develop this natural self-confidence. So I was walking around now, I was no longer like this, more like, okay, right? You could kind of take care of yourself. So I was doing that, and I guess maybe I always have a teacher's heart. Other kids would start asking me, oh, what are you doing? And I would show them different move. And as I was showing them different move, other kids would see and say, oh, this is cool. Like, what are you doing? I said, well, Chinese Kung Fu, man. Right? So I was showing them different things right there upstairs. Every single lunch, I would eat it for about 5-10 minutes, eat a sandwich. The rest of the lunch, I was teaching. I was teaching them martial art right here, right there at that second floor, every single day. And I loved it. Not because I was teaching them how to hurt people or even how to defend themselves, but I noticed when the kids that I was teaching, even my martial art wasn't particularly that good back then, I could see them transforming, that they become just more confident and they become a better version of themselves. And I love seeing people just transform like that. That's why I owe a lot of what I have today, my character, my personality, a lot of that came from martial art. There's no doubt in my mind. As a businessman, as an entrepreneur, as a husband, a lot of philosophies I learned from martial art.
When you get married, there's a lot of things that you never considered before. Your philosophy around parenting, your philosophy around food, your philosophy around what schools you want to go to, on how you want to discipline your kids. There's a lot of scenarios that you never think about. And it's just, you have to have a partner that is flexible, and you have to be flexible in those main buckets because they'll tear apart a marriage.
To be open-minded.
They'll tear it apart, man. You have to be aligned in those buckets, and there's more. And
aligned or willing to compromise.
Right.
Because it's a lot of compromising.
But you guys are both like driven, high-achieving, stuck to your mindset type of people because it's what got you to where you are. What was the hardest thing for you guys to be flexible about, each one of you?
To be totally honest, food.
Because you're a vegan.
We come from different schools of thoughts.
You eat meat, right, Sarah?
And by the way, Louis, food's not so easy because I don't know, the last time I checked, you needed to live. And the last time I checked, you have 3 meals a day, 21 a week. So if you're not aligned and the energy is like this,
Wow. Food is the biggest challenge for you guys.
Well, it's something that I'm deeply passionate about.
Yeah.
And very well read and have very strong opinions on.
And you speak about publicly all the time about.
Right. So it's the hardest thing for me to budge and move.
Wow.
And Sarah's been very patient in this, and we've really come really far, very far. We've actually basically solved what could have been a really big problem.
Really?
If anything is a big problem, if you let it bubble and escalate and then resent anything.
So how did you solve the?
We compromised.
With a meat eater.
We compromised. We worked at it. Wow. We invested.
Like one compromise is with the kids don't eat red meat, but we do turkey and chicken. So that was like a big kind of meet in the middle for us. I eat these things in moderation, but it was important to me to kind of my biggest thing was I didn't want to focus on food in our family. I didn't want it to be a big subject. I didn't want the children to feel limited or too controlled around food. And so it's very difficult when you're with someone who's
uber controlling around food.
Well, whose intentions are pure and
wants to live a long life, healthy.
His philosophies make a lot of sense. I mean, it's not like he's, You've seen every documentary on veganism, haven't you? This was a messy bucket for us, but we continue to talk it out and work it out. And we've really come a long way on that.
There's a process which has made more people rich than any other single process of goal achieving. And it's to take your major goal and structure it as a question. If your goal is to earn $100,000 a year, then you write, how can I earn $100,000 in the next 12 months? Now, that's an open-ended question, not how can I earn it at my job or doing a specific thing, just an open-ended question, how can I earn the amount of money? And then you discipline yourself to write 20 answers to the question. And the 20 answers are all the different things that you could think of to earn $100,000. Work longer, work harder, upgrade my skills, get a new job, take a part-time opportunity. Whatever it happens to be, write down everything you could think of, but force yourself to write at least 20 questions or 20 answers to the question. The 20-question method, called mindstorming, forces you to dig deep, deep into your mind where you will find all your answers. And it may be call a person, read a book. Let me give you an example. We had a young fellow, entrepreneur, he got 35 years old. He'd built a successful business. He'd worked about 10 years to do it. And he, for 2 years, wanted to sell his business so he could take a year off and travel, enjoy his money. And so for 2 years, he just sort of floundered around like a fish on the dock, wanting to sell his business. Nobody offered to buy it. He suggested it to people. People were not interested, and so on. And in this exercise that they put him through, his 20th answer, and often it's the 20th answer that is the breakthrough, was buy a book on how to sell your own business. And it just went off like a flashbulb in his mind. At the break, he got up. It was a downtown hotel. Got up, went down to the street to a major bookstore, went and found he was amazed at the number of books that had been written on how to buy and sell a business. So he bought 2 or 3 books. 2 months later, he had restructured, packaged his business, sold it completely, satisfactorily, and took a year off. He said, but it was just a single idea. It was a breakthrough idea. But it was so simple, just get a book on the subject. And you think, boy, that's pretty obvious, yes? But it's the most obvious answers that we overlook.
All my life I've really wanted to do this, so it doesn't seem like I've been in the business for a short time. It's all I've ever wanted to do. It's all I've ever done.
It's easy to believe in yourself when everyone believes in you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about believing in yourself when you're not ready. Believing in yourself when no one believes you. Believing in yourself when everyone doubts you, that you cannot do it, that you cannot make it, that you don't have what it takes.
And when I say life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you, I really don't know if that's true. I'm just making a conscious choice to perceive challenges as something beneficial so that I can deal with them in the most productive way.
When you put forth effort, you get reward. When you throw your heart and mind and soul into something, you get something back. Now, in my book, I call that notion, that belief, that effort brings reward, meaningful work. And when you look at the lives of people who are really successful, what you see over and over again is this idea of meaningful work is embedded in their consciousness.
Like constantly. And as you chip away, and no one change, no one transformation happens all at once. It's going to be in small needlepoint moves.
The reason that you're struggling with the next question is because you're always worried about what your parents think. And that really stayed in my head. I was just like, wow, so as long as I'm trapped by what my parents think, I can actually never find the answers to the real questions of life.